How we doing, boys? Sitting here with my shisha. We got a 10 p.m. double espresso, some sparkling water. Trying to get dialed in to film this video for you guys because I've had a thought on my mind that I think is going to be really value for me to talk about. And the thought is that there is a very fine line between winners and losers. And one of the most binary things of life, one of the most black and white aspects of this life we live is that there are winners and there are losers. Now, sometimes that line is, very close, right? Sometimes you make a deal and both people win. But the truth is there's always an A side and there's always a B side. And the winners and losers we're going to be talking about in this video is specifically business. You want to get rich. That's why you watch my channel. That's why you're enticed right now, because you want to be rich. You want to be a winner. You want to win in business. And I want to tell you every single thing, every single secret I've learned over the past 3 years, going from zero to making almost $2 million now at 20 years old, to become a winner in business and avoid that loser territory. Because I used to be a loser when I was 17, 18 years old. Before I started my business, I was what you would call a loser. And I started doing things that turned me into a winner. And I'm going to share those with you. So let's get right into it. The difference between winners and losers. There's a few key points. And one of the most obvious ones, and really the only way to guarantee success in this lifetime, is to simply not stop. If you outlast people, if you never stop, if you always just keep going, you literally can't lose. Unless you're working your ass off and you go live till 75 and you still haven't won, cool, you lost. But the only way to guarantee success is by not stopping. And I've noticed people who win and people who lose have very different mindsets when it comes to this. People who lose, they want to simply do something and hope it gets results. Maybe it'll get results in a few weeks, a couple months, but if they even get to that first month, second month, third month territory without seeing results, they stop. Winners, they simply do not stop until they win. I told myself when I started my sports media page that I wasn't going to stop until I won. And my first 3 months in business, my first 3 months with my page, Fantasy Football Rocket, I wasn't really making any money. I was making 2 or 3K a month. That may sound decent, but I simply spent 3K on the program teaching me how to do it. So I didn't really make any profit yet. And if I stopped at those 3 months, I wouldn't be sitting in front of this camera today. I wouldn't be in this cool, Miami high-rise with the diamond watch. None of that stuff really matters that much, but it's just a testament to show that I have succeeded in business. And I wouldn't be here right now if I stopped without seeing results. What happened after those 3 months? For the next 3 months after that, 6 months total, my page absolutely popped off. I went from 0 to 75,000 followers on Instagram. Resume another 3 months, I made 150K profit in a month from my sports page, which was absolutely ridiculous. I went from 0 to $150,000 profit in a month with sports content in 9 months. Changed my life. But if it was the 2 months and 30-day mark, and I was like, you know what? I haven't seen many results from this. I'm going to stop. I'm going to give up. I would not have ever hit that 150K profit month. And the only reason I kept going through the hard times is because I told myself I wasn't going to stop until I won. I knew the opportunity I'd set my mind to, and I knew that I was going to achieve my goals, or I was going to keep going. I'd still be working towards it right now. And the difference is winners do something until it's done. Losers give something a little effort and then they give up because they look into their negative thoughts too much. That's one of the major things. You need to outlast people. And if you do that, you're simply going to outwork and outlast 99% of the competition just because you don't stop. And if you pair that with some other good qualities, right, that you'll learn along the way, you're going to be an unstoppable force in business. But simply outlasting people is one of the biggest difference between winners and losers. Number 2, another easy one. Winners focus on the bright side. The stupid analogy you hear online all the time, glass half full, that's how winners think. I used to think it sounded corny. I used to think I was cool in high school or middle school, even being like, the negative guy, being like, oh, that doesn't sound right. You're too optimistic. You're too happy. You should focus on what if it goes wrong, like trying to be cool because, like to be like a realist and be cool. And even though I am a realist, even though I like to, live in reality, I am 100% optimistic because I have delusional self-belief in myself. Now, if you don't have delusional self-belief, you're not going to go anywhere. Every single winner didn't become a winner on accident. Every single rich person didn't become rich on accident, unless you win the lottery, whatever. I don't even classify that as rich, but you know what I mean. Every single rich person did not do it on accident. They did it on purpose, and they knew before they were rich, they were going to be rich. Why? Because they had delusional self-belief. Every single person has started from where you are right now. Every single person, including myself, has started to try and build a business to get rich without ever being rich before. So your number one negative self-thought, like negative self-talk thought that you probably have often is, oh, I've never done this before. Guess what? Every single person has to do something for the first time. That's a stupid way of thinking. Every single person has had enough belief in themselves to try something without ever doing it before. And I've done that as well. And it's one of the best decisions I've made in my life. And if you want to get rich, you need to also make that decision if you want to be a winner. So a lot of winners, right? And a lot of losers, but mainly a lot of winners, they are fixated on the positive. Now, losers, the reason I mention that is because sometimes losers are too optimistic and they think the problems they have with themselves aren't serious. That's when you should be a realist. You shouldn't be like, oh, I don't have any money, I'm a loser, I'm magically gonna get rich. No, that is bad delusional self-belief. That's just delusional. The belief isn't there. That's just delusional. You need to be a realist to understand like enough reality that you need to change your situation. You need to lock in. But the winners, they fixate on the positive things. And it doesn't just come from, like looking on the bright side, being an optimist. It comes to every single decision you make. Think about it. If I told you you could start a business right now and there was a 50% chance it failed and a 50% chance in 2 years you'd be rich, you would probably choose to not do it, because if you failed, whatever, you wouldn't have any money, you'd be a loser, and I mean like failed, like bankrupt, your life screwed up. A winner would look at, they could win, they could succeed. They would analyze that and be like, okay, I have a chance at winning. And basically, us as humans, our brains specifically, are big safety mechanisms. Our brain is trying to keep us safe. It is trying to make us survive, keep us alive. It is not designed to make us thrive. This is why, naturally, every single time you think of something, you think of the wrong things. You think of the negative things first. That is simply your brain protecting you. That's why when you've thought about starting your business or whatever you want to start, you're like, oh, what if it doesn't work? What if people make fun of me? What if I don't make any money? Where the winners are able to override that and be like, you know what? Yes, I have negative self-talk, but I'm not even going to think about that. What if it does work out? What if this really all happens? What if I don't give up? I go through with this and I get everything I've ever wanted. That is how you need to think. And that is a major difference between losers and winners in this life. Now, before I finish and give you some more very valuable information, I need to take a shisha break. Be patient. A lot of people think shisha is bad for you. Shisha makes your lungs stronger. It gives you nicotine. It helps you get locked in. If you're not smoking shisha or cigars, you're a loser. If you are really scared of lung cancer, I get it, but I feel like that's a bad way to live. This is just a side note, but I feel like you shouldn't be scared of long-term diseases. If you work out a lot, you're not gonna, have that happen to you. Like, think about it. How many like super ripped guys get, these diseases? I don't want to say certain ones to offend people, but like you usually see unhealthy people in the hospital. So what I'm trying to say is, like, if you work out every day, like, yes, I smoke shisha, but I box and train either lifting or running twice a day. Like, I literally train twice a day to outwork my lungs being damaged. So if you're healthy and you're really going after it, like fitness wise, I don't think you're going to be affected by these things. But anyway, shisha's great. One more hit and then we're going to continue. All right, winners and losers. Point 3, winners smoke shisha, losers don't. But we're on to point 4. Next point, we went over, just to recap so far, winners think positively. Winners think, what if this can work out? And losers think about the negative things. Everyone thinks about the negative things. That's our natural brain chemistry, but the winners are able to override that, basically. And then the first thing I talked about is that winners also have delusional self-belief. You need to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to be able to do it. Like, the stupid famous quote, I don't want to call it stupid, it's true. The quote where it's like, the man who says he can and the man who says he can't, they're both right. It's 100% true. They're both right. If you believe you can do something, you can do it. If you believe you can't do something, you can't do it. Point number 3 is probably the most important of this video. Winners take action. You can be a loser watching this video right now, thinking you're taking action by learning things. To a degree you are, but this video you're watching right now is only going to be valuable to you if you click off it and you do what I tell you. If you click off it and you actually do something actionable, if you take action towards your life to make it better. If you're just consuming this content, it is literally porn. It is literally porn. I don't know if I'm able to say that on YouTube. Hopefully I am, but I'm using it as an analogy. That's literally what it is. Your brain is getting stimulated by thinking about you achieving your goals. If you tell somebody you're going to achieve your goals, you literally get a dopamine hit. So that's the same thing as watching this content. You're like, oh yeah, I'm locked in. I'm watching, I'm learning from rich people. I'm going to do this, this, and this. But it doesn't matter how much content you watch. You need to actually implement it, take action on it. And winners are action-based. Losers are thought-based. Losers are dream-based. If you have a dream, all it is a dream if you don't take action. If you have a dream and you take action on it, now it's a plan. Now you got a pathway. Now you can actually get to that end goal. So winners take action. This is so important. All I do is take action. If I have a problem in my life, I'm like, okay, what can I do? Fix it right now. If a loser had a problem in their life, they'd think about it. They'd feel sorry for themselves. They'd think, what if I do this solution, and analysis paralysis, right? Just thinking of a million different things. When in reality, they should be fixated on how can I solve that problem? How to take action. Like for an example, right? If you haven't started your business, I know you've spent hours thinking about what business to start, comparing, what if I do this? What if I do this? Well, guess what? It doesn't matter if you do 20 years of in-depth research looking for the #1 business model on the planet. If you never take action and actually start the business, you're never going to make any money. Action beats everything, specifically imperfect action. You think if you start a business today, whatever niche it is, you're going to be the best entrepreneur in the world? Of course you're not. You're going to take action. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. But the quicker you do that, the quicker you're going to be able to learn things. And this is going to segue into point number 4, the difference between winners and losers. Winners are fast. Losers are slow. I said this in one of my videos and everybody went crazy. People who are rich respond to your text faster. People who are poor respond to your text slower. And it's not just a text. It goes deeper than that. It's because rich people move with a sense of urgency. You need to get things done. It doesn't matter what it is, taking the trash out, if you're walking somewhere, if you're driving even, if you're doing a business task, if you're talking to someone. Like, winners understand that their time is valuable and they do everything fast. Because if you do things fast, the more things you can get done in a day, the more things you're going to get done in a week, a month, a year, a decade, a century. And if you compound that, you are going to beat the competition simply by doing things faster. For example, when I started my sports content page, like I was saying earlier in this video, I posted 4 times a day like it was clockwork. Why? Because I looked at the competition. They were all lazy. They were posting once every other day, once every 3 days, once a week maybe if they were really lazy. And I was like, okay, I'm going to attack this industry. I'm going to post 4 times a day and I'm going to win. And that's exactly what happened. Now I'm one of the biggest guys and most respected guys in my space because of that. So if you want to become a winner, get out of Loserville and come over to Winnerville. You need to do things fast. You need speed in your life. You need a sense of urgency. Stop taking so long to do things. And it goes along with action, right? This comes hand in hand because a lot of times you're going to be an analysis paralysis, thinking like, okay, what if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? Should I do this or this or this? Making a decision. Winners, they make a decision, they take action on it, and they roll with it. Because if you compound that over time, there's one guy who's sitting on the sidelines thinking about what he's going to do, and then there's the winner who's been taking so much action that boom, he does something, he learns from it, fixes it, learns something, fixes it, and then he keeps doing these things, and he's gotten so many more things done while the other guy is still sitting around thinking. So if there is a problem in your life, probably the fact that you don't have any money, start a business tonight. Start a business today. Make money today. Don't wait for a week. Don't do some research. Don't go watch 50 YouTube videos thinking this, or this. You know what you want to start right now. You can do your own research quickly. This business has this. This business has this. This business has this. You know what? I'm gravitating towards this one. Boom, we started today. You need to take action, imperfect action, because that will lead to perfect action once you actually learn things. Now, if you want to start a business in 2025, the best business is sports content. That is what I do. That's what I've been referencing this entire video. Why is it the best business? Because you get 1,000% margins. The #1 way we make money as sports content creators, I say we because I also teach teach over 50 guys in Sports Creator Academy, including Fantasy Football Sav, who made $70,000 profit in December last year in his first year, just as an example, is because we work with the best betting apps in the world. Underdog, PrizePicks, Sleeper, Chalkboard. And the reason these partnerships are so lucrative is because they will pay us $75 to $100 per commission on just a $5 to $10 sale. It is the only business you can get $10 deposits with your promo code, a $10 sale, and make $100 in commission. So when I heard that, that's when I went all in on my business. And I've got thousands of people on these apps, tens of thousands of people, and it's made me millions of dollars. That's how I've done it. I've basically built a sports page, learned how to go viral on it, built an audience, and then I monetized that audience to tens of thousands, millions of people actually, and I've gotten hundreds of thousands of people on these apps to make $1 million commission checks. How Fantasy Football Sav made $70,000 profit in that month is because he took action, he built his page quickly, he did what we told him to do in Sports Creator Academy, and come December, he had a couple videos go viral. He had, I believe, a 500,000 view video for the NFC Championship, and then a 700,000 view video for the Super Bowl. And if 1.2 million people saw his video, he got 700 people to sign up at $100 CPA. That's $70,000 profit in 1 month. So if you're interested in learning sports content, if you're sick of just thinking of a billion businesses and you want to actually know the best one, click the link below. You can basically learn a lot more about what sports content has to offer. I'm not going to spend this whole video going over it, but you can work with me one-on-one. We've got a bunch of winning success stories you can check out below. There's like a 10-minute video of me explaining more about the business. So if you're serious, it's very close-knit. You can apply to work with me. You can't just buy it. But if you're serious, fill out the application below, watch the video, and you can learn more about this business. So to resume what I was saying, winners move fast and winners take action. If you're not an action taker, if you're a loser, you are not going to win. I can reference this from people in my program in the past. The people who win, like Fantasy Football Sav, take action. They post every day. They're disciplined. They do the right things. Where people who lose, they post once a week, they get busy with something, there's distractions, blah, blah, blah. No, winners prioritize important things, losers prioritize stupid things, and that is point number 5. What I just said, winners prioritize important things and losers prioritize non-important things. For example, a loser is never going to miss a concert. He's never going to miss going to the club with his friends. He's never going to miss that. Don't even think about it. How could he miss it? It's the most important thing ever. Oh my God, the girl texted him back on Tinder finally. He only messaged 300, but the one responded saying hi. Maybe I can get on a date with her. Let me spend all day thinking of what to text her. Like, bro, she doesn't want you. Winners are fixated on things that are important. They wake up, they have a list of things to do, and they attack them. Whether it's going to move their business forward, move their body forward, their mindset forward, they do things that have growth in their life. They don't prioritize clubbing. You're going to say, oh, winners go to the club, winners have fun. Yeah, because they've already won. And even though you might see a baller at the club, they have that lower on their priority list, or they wouldn't be a baller. So they may still do these things. You can be a winner, and if you're a degenerate, whatever, I don't care what you do. That's not my thing, but if you want a club, cool. But you need to have your business, your life, your overall just being above, the clubs, the partying, the girls. That needs to be a lower priority. So winners, as myself, I do not get rid of anything on my schedule that's important. Everything else comes below. You have to have your priorities set. Losers have their priorities set the wrong way. They'll go to the club before they work on their business. They'll go to the bar before they go to the gym. They have it flipped. You need to flip your priorities to make your life, your profits, your mindset, your body, all of these things need to be above the loser degeneracy things. And that's a huge difference between winners and losers. Winners prioritize things that are going to move them forward. Losers prioritize things that are going to keep them below. Now, the last thing, and probably the most important thing, is mindset. Winners have a better mindset. I guess this goes into every single thing I've been telling you in this video, but the truth is, winners have a completely different way of thinking. It's not just about thinking positively. They think of things in terms of, how can this help me? What can I get out of this? When they look at the world, specifically in business, they're thinking, okay, this guy makes money how? This guy makes money how? This company makes money how? Losers go through the world just consuming. And an easier way to put this, if we're talking about mindset, which is pretty pretty much the same thing, is losers like to consume, winners like to produce. If a winner consumes something, they're thinking, how can I produce it? A loser just consumes. They just go through life aimlessly with no direction, with no intention. Where a winner will spend money on something and be like, you know what? I can make money from this too. I can learn this from this. This was good. This was good. And they're constantly just building their mindset and analyzing everything around them. So you need to be a creator, not a consumer. You need to be the guy making the content, not watching content. You need to be the guy building a business, not spending all of his money from his jobs and different businesses. You understand what I'm saying? Winners have such a better mindset, and it allows them to create instead of consume. And all these things tie together, right? Why would someone create? Because their priorities of creating something are above their priorities of scrolling on TikTok, consuming. It all comes together, right? And they're action takers. So all these things blend together. You need to have all these qualities, but you need to be a creator, not a consumer. You're going to profit off the consumers. For example, sports content, my business, I produce the sports content. Other people consume it. That's fine. They enjoy my content. But the person on the other side of the business is making the money of your whatever you're consuming. Like, I used to have a business pretty much in the same space, sports content space, before I bought that program on my own, before I had any clue of what I was doing. And the reason I even got into it is because I was a degenerate gambler. I would buy someone's picks, and I was spending like $300 a month, all my money on this guy's picks so I could be a winning sports bettor. And I realized the guy didn't even win, but I looked at his subscription. He had 200 people in there at like $300 a month. So I'm like, okay, math, this guy's making 60 grand a month for picks that don't even win. I need to get on the other side of this. Now, do my picks win? Yes, I'm not one of those guys, but just for an example, you need to get on the other side of the business. And that's why I do sports content. Sports is a huge industry. I already explained why it's such a great business. I'm going to get on the other side of it and profit off this gold rush instead of just sit on my ass and watch sports all day. So you need to be a creator, not a consumer. Guys, I hope you found this video informative. I really just had a raw talk about everything I know between becoming a winner and becoming a loser. And you need to be on the winning side. It will be worth it in every aspect of your life. I know your brain tells you to be a loser. I know your brain tells you to lay in bed in the morning extra long. Your brain tells you to not go to the gym. Your brain tells you to go to the club and have fun. But if you can override that, if you can become a winner, I promise you the feeling you will have will last a lifetime. You'll be proud of yourself, and it'll be so worth all of that garbage of loserville activities you gave up. So I hope you guys watch this video and you are going to become a winner after this if you aren't already. If you're subscribed to my channel, you already are a winner. So I appreciate you guys watching. And also about sports content, if you want to learn more about that, like I said earlier, fill out that application below. Watch the 10-minute video of me explaining what the business is. If you want to work with me one-on-one, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you in the next one.